Empoleon dynamite! Get it? Empoleon dynamite, get it? Okay. If you're new to the PV poke scene, you might not know, but Kakuna Matata, the one that created PvPoke.com, his username on Twitch is Empoleon Dynamite, and it's hilarious. Ironically, Empoleon dynamites a lot of the meta, and the reason why are dynamite. Okay, you know, I'm just gonna stop. Okay, so anyways, Empoleon is really interesting because it carries a water steel typing. It's been very strong since it's been released, and Empoleon also got a buff because of Drill Peck. So Drill Peck got buffed and they gave it to Empoleon, and Empoleon's just really good because of it. That's because it's able to cover its weaknesses now. So Empoleon maxed out close to 29. It maxed out 2900. It's close to the 2500 range. So that means it's a very high level for the Ultra Premier Cup. If you've seen a lot of content creators, they're probably using Empoleon because it's that good. So anyways, Empoleon is only weak to a few things: electric, fighting, and ground. Now, while that's around everywhere, because its stats are so high, it can take a few hits before it goes down. Now, its strength isn't really in what it's weak. It's not just like it has high stats, but also it has a ton of resistance. It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It has one of the most resistant pool in the most resistances pool in, like, probably the biggest one in the entire Ultra Premier Cup. It would double resist ice, double resist poison, it double resist steel, bug, dragon, fairy, flying, normal, psychic, rock, water. Guess what? There's a lot of these around. You resist those body slams, you resist those air slashes, those charmers got nothing on you, even dragon breath users. Along with that, Mega Horns don't do much against you, so don't Rock Scissors, and those bullet punches aren't that great, and Weather Ball, you laugh at the sight of Weather Ball. Now, Grass does neutral damage, but it's because of that's okay. Smackdown for the Rock users, and Swamperts really hate your guts. No, seriously, Swamperts hate that you exist. Now, that Swampert carries Earthquake, you gotta be careful, because like I said, it's weak against ground, but other than that, you resist all these things, and if it tries to Sludge Wave you, don't Sludge Wave. Just don't Sludge Wave Empoleon, okay? So Empoleon's kind of easy to get. It's had a community before. It's been pretty recent. Now, if you didn't get one before in community day, you can get one. You can get one for like awards. There's plenty of ways to get it, but you're gonna have to wait or Elite TM one in order to get a really great Empoleon for Go Battle League. So make sure you be careful. Other than that, it's pretty cheap to power up. 10k dust. But like I said, it kind of levels up pretty high, so 31. So depending on your preference for how much you want to spend, then your dust is gonna go a little bit down for Empoleon, just because it, like I said, gets up to level 30. So it costs a little bit of dust, has a really sweet shiny, and really, really good in Ultra Premier, mainly because it has a lot of resistances, but also you have a ton of cover. You're also it's good. It's good. You'll see why, but it's good. Empoleon is incredibly powerful in Ultra Premier Cup. As you see in the rankings overall, Empoleon is really, really strong. Best used as a lead. If you could catch its wins in the lead, you are set up for a really strong position. Along with that, it doesn't do bad in the other two functions, but you'll see, if you see a lot of Empoleons, 90% of the time they're in the lead. And for good reason. Now, it wins against Charizard, Swampert, Gyarados, Togekiss, Dragonite, so it has very strong coverage. Now, you do lose against Venusaur, Snorlax, Lapras, Gengar, and Galade, but that's okay, as long as you don't get there's a lot of ways to play with Empoleon. So, Empoleon, like I said, if you catch a strong lead, it's really good, and it has a wide spectrum of leads that it can beat. Other than that, you're going to use Hydro Cannon. Remember I mentioned Drill Peck? You're going to have Drill Peck right here. Some people do use Blizzard. This is for regular Premier, but right now we're looking at regular Ultra, but right now we're looking at Premier. So Empoleon, that's overall. Empoleon in the lead ranks at number 22. Like I said, it's because of it's so strong against its. If you win lead, you're in a really strong position. You win against Charizard, Swampert, Gyarados, Togekiss, Dragonite, and there's a lot more. You'll see in the Matrix. Doesn't do bad in the closers. However, it is the greatest number alive at rank 69 as a closer. Very, very powerful. Again, wins against, like, you'll see mostly of what it is strong against in the closing scenario, but you'll still see Swamperts, you'll still see Charizard, Lapras, Togekiss, Dragonites, etc. in the closing scenarios. But it's greatest number ever. Greatest. Greatest. And as a switch, it doesn't do half bad. So as a switch, and Empoleon's really good in the switch if they switch into your weakness. As you see here, if you're locked into what Empoleon is strong against, you're in a great position. But that's why Empoleon is so good, because if it wins pretty hard against its weaknesses. But it also loses hard against its weaknesses too. So you'll see in the Matrix just how good it is. But because of Drill Peck, it does have coverage against weaknesses with the exception of electricity. If it's electric and you can't Hydro Cannon it to death, then you might you're dead. But you'll see in the Matrix just how Empoleon is just really, really good against against what it's strong against. It's really, really good. You'll see. Alright, so Empoleon, here's the sim. I put Blizzard in here. You kind of don't want Blizzard. I just put it in here just so you could see why you don't want to use Blizzard. Here's the 2 shield. Like I said, Empoleon best used in the lead. As you see, in the lead, you actually beat Obama Snow. It doesn't want to take Drill Peck, so 9 times out of 10, you're probably going to beat its shield. Now, you lose against the Shadow version. And you're going to lose against Ampharos. Just because in the 2 shield, Ampharos is just really, like, those Volt Switches Chunk and Thunder Punch comes out really fast. So just be careful. It also loses against Dragonite. Ironically, the reason why you lose against Dragonite is because Dragon Breath is so oppressive. And they could kind of just double shield your stuff. They could double shield you. As you see here. You just get chunked down. It's not really great. You want a Drill Peck because you don't want to get resisted. But it comes out pretty strong. So you do kind of want to switch out of that Dragonite matchup. You beat Charizard. You beat Clefable. Because Charmers, you resist Charmers. You even beat Driplim. You're going to lose against electric types. And counter users hurt. So just keep that in mind. You could flip this matchup if you have shield advantage, I think, but we'll see further down the Matrix. You beat Galate, Gengar, Honchkrow, Lapras, just because you resist all their moves. Well, except Honchkrow Snarls, you don't resist it, but you do resist Sky Attack and Brave Bird, so you're really strong in that matchup. You lose against Machamp. Like I said, counter users hurt, and so do electric users. Pretty much lose against all of them. You beat Alolan Muck. So Alolan Muck you do beat, or Alolan Muck you do beat. Waterfall Chunks, and you also beat Scizor. Just because you resist those Bullet Seeds. Remember when I was talking about Steel is double resistance? Well, you have a really strong matchup against Scizor. You also beat Shadow. You don't beat regular Swampert just because of the Mud Shot. Shadow Swampert you do just because you could just go straight Hydro Cannon. Or they don't really get to high. Yeah, you go to straight Hydro Cannon, but it's really the Waterfalls that do most of the chunk damage. So just keep that in mind. And you also beat Togekiss. You also beat Togekiss. But like I said, against this weakness like fighter users, fighting, ground, and electric, the only one you really beat out of those 3 is probably Swampert, that Shadow Swampert. Other than that, you do lose quite hard against other things. Even to Snorlax, just because those licks chunk. If you look here, both of your shields are baited, and then it superpowers you to death. So just keep that in mind. You don't want you to superpower because it does a heavy amount of damage. More than half, in fact. That's the 2 shield, but like you see, Empoleon is really strong against against its leads. If you beat the lead, you have a very convincing lead. Well, very convincing in most scenarios. Some scenario, and not really most, but yeah, like most scenarios really. On that, you'll go against like 500 ratings, which isn't bad, but it's still pretty good. Now, in the 1 shield, Empoleon loses effectiveness, unfortunately. You will lose against Abomasnow. You do beat the Shadow one just because you can chuck it down with Hydro Cannon and then you Drill Peck. Well, you bait and then you Drill Peck. But as you see, you beat what you're supposed to beat. You lose against what you're supposed to lose. However, in this scenario, you lose harder against its weaknesses. So just keep that in mind and be very careful. For example, you'll lose against Lapras at this point, but you'll also lose. You see your ratings for fighter users like Machamp and Poliwrath, they go down the hill. Cross Chop will straight up obliterate you if you go against it. But in this scenario, the one thing you do flip is in the 1 shield you do beat Swampert. Regular Swampert, that is. So just keep that in mind. And the one shield you can beat regular Swampert. Now the closer is kind of where Empoleon is really kind of good. You beat Shadow Abomasnow. You beat Charizard, Clefable, Dragonite, Drifblim, Gengar, Honchkrow, Lapras, Scizor, Slowbro. Now against Machamp, if you have shields, you might be able to flip this matchup, I believe. That's why Drill Peck is so useful. As you see here, you can. As long as you have a shield, you will you can Drill Peck down a Machamp. So just keep that in mind. You do have plays as long as you're up a shield. But just really careful. Speaking of being up a shield, in the closer, as you see, Empoleon's kind of powerful. It's able to beat a lot of things. Does lose pretty hard against its weaknesses though. With a shield, that's what you kind of want to do. With a shield, you only lose against Shadow, Snorlax, Obstagoon, Poliwrath, and Ampharos. So you only lose against 4 of the relevant meta. Other than that, you beat everything, including its weaknesses such as Machamp. You beat Swamperts. You'll even beat Tangrowth. You even beat Venusaur because you're able to Drill Peck it down. So as long as you have a shield, you're pretty Gucci. So make sure you have a shield. But that's where Empoleon shines. You could switch it out, give it shield advantage, sack the other 2, and then it just runs down. In the 2 shield, Empoleon beats everything in the major meta. There's nothing that actually beats it. This is why Empoleon's such a beast, because up 1 or 2 shields, Empoleon is incredibly powerful, and especially in the lead. If you win hard in the lead, that's great. If you lose the lead, switch out, give it shield advantage, and it will go to town and bring everything down. You literally, it's a very dynamic Pokemon that just destroys its weak. Yep, it's really good. So Empoleon's best used in the lead. I'm gonna run 2 sims here, or 2 sims real quick, just to show you just how good Empoleon is. You want Drill Peck and Hydro Cannon. If you saw in the sims, Blizzard doesn't do much for you. You kind of want Blizzard in regular Ultra, but we're analyzing Ultra Premier here. So Empoleon's best used in the lead. We beat Drifblim, as you saw in the 2. We do beat Drifblim in the 2 shield, so we can kind of just chill here. Our opponent does elect to switch. We get a Lucario. I will switch into Charizard. I don't have to shield anything with Charizard. Charizard can take it down, and we can just Dragon Claw and break shields. So as you saw there, the AI switched immediately because, like I said, Empoleon's really strong against its weaknesses. I mean, against its strengths. So if you have a strong matchup, you're going to beat it 9 times. You're going to beat it really hard. We have a Drifblim. Drifblim comes back. I'm going to fire the Blast Burn because at this point, I just want your shields. Drifblim loses. We want shield advantage here. This Drifblim has to use energy to take us out. And then we can set up our Empoleon with shields. Now, I didn't cover the 2-to-1 shield scenario. I would look at that before. We'll look at that after this. But, as you see here, up shields, Empoleon's a monster. As I said, our opponent does have to blight shields here. We'll fire the Dragon Claw. This will do some chip damage, but I don't expect this AI to shield. That's because there's no reason to. Alright, so we deal some chip damage. I'm going to wait out the clock a little bit. We got Empoleon, so we run alignment back. So we're going to just send Empoleon back in, and we can either farm down or just pressure with a Hydro Cannon. And then we get a Licky Licky. Alright, so this is kind of weird. We get Licky Licky. I'm going to go fire my Hydro Cannon that I stored. Hopefully we bake that shield or we do damage. And then we could just switch it to Tangrowth. There's no reason to keep Tangrowth because Tangrowth does take super effective damage from Icy Wind. We could just switch out Tangrowth and then we could just sack it at this point and just start using pressure. So we could we could Rock Slide down here. So I'll charge up to a Power Whip and then I'll fire the Rock Slide. But as you see here, Empoleon is really, really good. If in the lead, it has, like I said, it has convincing. It wins pretty hard, and you're left with a somewhat decent amount of HP, so you could play with future matchups. As you see here, we're just going to Vine Whip down at this point. There's no reason for me to shield. I do have shield advantage, but we pretty much won this. Now we're going to have energy coming out of this matchup. And remember what I was talking about in the 2 shield? We have we're dominant. We have a dominant matchup. I'm going to Rock Slide here. This Drifblim has to shield. And then I could just Rock Slide again for the W, or even if I wanted to, Empoleon can go ahead and just take over this matchup. So let's see if we can get to another Rock Slide. We shield this, we get to a Rock Slide, that's GG's. As you see, Empoleon didn't have to do much work there. It literally just took a Hydro Cannon to the Lickitung, and we managed to win really convincingly with Empoleon lead. Empoleon lead's really strong. Tangrowth is the second best safe switch. I just put a video on that, so if you want to take a look at Tangrowth, you can. Take out the Drifblim, that's GG's. Empoleon, very strong in the lead, does give you shields, does give you play, and Hydro Cannon does decent amount of chip damage, even if it doesn't do super effective damage. Here's number 2, Empoleon versus Snorlax. Now this is where it gets kind of iffy. I don't remember if we do actually win against Snorlax, but as long as we can take these body slams, so as long as you call body slam, you should be okay. We're gonna go straight Hydro Cannon though. Gonna go straight Hydro Cannon here. I want to break shields or do some chip damage with Snorlax. Because the Snorlax has to superpower if it wants to deal decent amount of damage. Because we do resist Body Slam. Empoleon's resistances are also make it really good. As you see here, Body Slam doesn't do a lot of damage. It barely chunks at all. That's one of Empoleon's best strengths too, is just its resistance. Remember how I told you it has a library of resistances? That's what makes Empoleon such a great lead. You have a lot of play with it, especially if you call baits and they use their resisted move against you. You have it's a great advantage. So I'm not going to shield anything here. This Snorlax might get to a superpower or get farmed down. Either way, that's fine. I can save shields. Empoleon just gave a shield advantage, and we took out this entire Snorlax. Yes, that's a superpower. That's fine. We'll let Snorlax take us down. We'll send in Tangrowth, and we'll grab some shields. Or we won't grab shields, but we'll farm down here. I could have shielded, let Empoleon come up and retain switch, but that's okay. It gave a shield advantage here. Now we do get a Venusaur, that's fine. Venusaur, we have shield advantage here. All we have to do is just straight Rock Slide. That I could switch to our Charizard here, and then Charizard can do some work. Now, if we can break a shield here, that's great. If we don't, that's fine. Like I said, we have shield advantage. So that's okay. Now, this is a kind of scenario, if I did shield, we could have pressured Venusaur shields with Drill Peck, but at the same time, remember, Venusaur has doesn't convincingly be, but Venusaur has a strong matchup against Empoleon. So we don't want Emperor Penguin to take a lot of hits from the grass typings. So because we don't want to take a lot of hits, we're just going to let it go, and then as you see, we managed to break the second shield. I'm going to switch here immediately. Now, we get a Swampert, this is fine. I can totally Swampert actually one Hydro Cat. We're gonna just let Charizard go. The reason being is because a Shadow Swampert will KO Charizard with Hydro Cannon, but a regular one does not. So we're gonna do some heavy damage here with Blast Burn, and then we should be able to get. They have to blow their energy at us, or we get to another Dragon Claw. So we can get this thing within farm down range, and we have a really strong matchup. I can break my second shield. I'm probably going to just let it go. There's no reason to, and then we can try and farm down. Because we resist, unless this Swampert is carrying Sludge Wave, we pretty much just wall it. And we can tank that. We can tank that Hydro Cannon. Take the Hydro Cannon, take the Earthquake. We're good here. We just farm down. We get plenty of energy to throw out this Venusaur that's coming in the back. So we have to drop 2 Rock Slides. That's fine. I'm going to shield this. We should be okay in this scenario. I should be able to get to 2 Rock Slides before this Venusaur takes me out. The keyword should. Can we is the question. And they got a Vine Whip through. So as you see, Empoleon's really powerful. Take advantage of its resistances, and it's very, very strong. Very, 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 very strong. We do get to second Rock Slide. That's GG's. As you see here, Empoleon, very powerful in the lead. If you do resist it, that's great. If you call baits, and it happens to be the weaker move, like you saw with Snorlax here, Empoleon gives you really great play. The reason why I mix Empoleon and Tangrowth is that's a very strong core. Empoleon, if you win the lead, is good. Tangrowth can break the shields. And remember I was talking about with Empoleon with shield advantage in the zeros? It's really strong. We get a Lapras in the lead. We could straight Drill Peck here. Drill Peck, this isn't a bad matchup because Drill Peck does a lot of damage. And we actually wall Lapras really hard. Because it just really, actually you wall it pretty hard. You do resist the Surf, you also resist the Ice Beams. You might elect to switch here. We do not get a switch, that's fine. I will Drill Peck. Remember, Empoleon does resist, remember Empoleon's resistances, Ice is resisted, and you also resist the Surfs from Lapras, you also resist Skull Bashes. Again, Empoleon's strengths are his resistances, and if you're able to wall like this, You're Abe, you have a lot of play, and then you could either choose to let this thing got another ice shard, and that's really making me mad because I'm really timing this wrong. You don't want like Lapras to get extra ice shards into you because it gives it more play. We managed to get a switch, we get a Shadow Snorlax, that's fine. Now I'm going to fire my Hydro Cannon here. I have Charizard, I have Charizard and I have Tangrowth. So we're pretty okay here. I'm going to just fire the Hydro Cannon, hoping I do some chip damage or grab a shield, and we grab a shield. We have shield advantage there, we're just going to save that shield. And then it's a Shadow Snorlax, so then Shadow Snorlax can't take a lot of damage. Fire Spins can chunk just because of how Shadow lowers defense. Body Slam doesn't do a decent amount of damage though. We're going to switch to a Blast Burn. Hopefully we grab that second shield. Best case scenario, we grab the second shield. If we don't, that's fine. Okay, we don't grab the shield. Okay, that's okay. We're just going to straight Dragon Claw at this range. We win CMP. Snorlax either has the shield or they have to let Snorlax go. It's either one. But Snorlax can't lick us down, so it has to decide whether or not it wants to live or wants to die. So it goes down. We get an Obstagoon. This is kind of great because we might be able to get to another Blast. We get to another Dragon Claw. You won't be able to get to a Blast Burn, but we do get to a Dragon Claw, which is pretty great. Get to a Dragon Claw. This will shield, or we take chip damage. We grab a shield for a Dragon Claw. That's awesome. Now we have a Tangrowth and an Empoleon with 2 shields. We've got this in the bag. There's pretty much no way we can win. No, there's little our opponent can do to win this matchup. We could farm down the Lapras. We have 2 shields too, except when they proc like that. Then things get really bad, because now we have to shield the Wow! That's fortunate. Please don't proc again. Please don't proc again. Okay, they get the, that's fine. Lapras has Surf. It can have Ice Beam too, that's okay. I'd rather tank the Surf and get 2 Power Whips, because you can get to 2 Power Whips. Send in the Empoleon, take in the rest of the damage. They have to throw their energy here. Basically just sacking Empoleon because there's no reason to have Empoleon. And then we have all this energy left for that Obstagoon in the back. And this is where you get to see how Power Whip just chunks. Just chunks. Power Whip chunks, and as you saw there, Empoleon lived a lot of stuff there. He lived a lot. This Obstagoon has energy drive. We get to 2 Power Whips, that's GG's. But you saw the walling ability of, not really the wall, but the resistance ability of Empoleon is just really strong. We won all 3 matches pretty convincingly. Empoleon, Tangrowth, great core, pairs together very well. Strong lead, especially to get resistances, and Tangrowth is a great safe switch. And that's the video for today. I hope you guys have a great day. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Like I said, Empoleon, you should have one built if you want to use it for Ultra Premier. It's really good for Ultra Premier Cup.